Tuesday, August 28th. I'm Scott.
I'm Rim.
And this is Geeknights. Tonight we review Mario Strikers Charged. Arr. Let's do this.
Video games. I've been really feeling it lately, I gotta say.
Yeah, the thing is I gotta sort of contain myself and force myself to beat Paper Mario before I play all these other games.
Not just that, I have to force myself to go to goddamn bed. I mean, Sunday night we started playing Natural Selection, and then midnight rolls around, and my brain says, Rim, you gotta go to work in the morning, and I said, shut up, you.
Yes, there
I
are
know
people
what's
still
right.
on this server. They're not going to bed.
Yeah, I know. You know what's funny is back in college.
Rim's on the server. He's not going to bed.
Yeah, and I was like, I see Scott there. I see Water's Poison there. Alex is there. I guess I can stay up too.
Yeah, why not? Other people are. Everyone's doing it, man.
Now, the funny thing was, back in RIT, that was kind of a valid excuse. I mean, when I started playing NS or Counter-Strike or Tribes or anything at night, didn't matter what day of the week it wasn't like, oh, I have class in the morning. It was, I played until the game wound down and everyone went to bed. And sometimes that just didn't happen, and I just kept playing.
Yeah, that's how the multiplayer games go.
It really took a lot of effort to say to myself, all right, I am going to stop playing now that the round has ended and not play the next round, despite the fact that I'm the only one leaving the server right now. And I felt like a loser.
I actually played one more round
And
after
I was
everyone else
pissed
left.
because Scott comes in immediately and is like, man, the round you missed was like the best one.
It was a pretty good round, that last round there.
It probably was, because the teams were starting to... It was kind of bad because like one team would get creamed every round, and then as time went on, it started kind of evening out as the good players and the bad players started to get to know each other, and the team started working properly. Like one round we were aliens, and some guy built Sense First. Which is okay if everyone on the team is down with that.
I was on the Marines that time.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was the one time that I won.
Yeah. Thing is, I was like, awesome, now I can ambush and focus. And
The thing is, how well I did totally depended on the team. Like, that last round when you weren't there, I was doing real well, but the team lost anyway.
yeah.
We held out for a while, though. It was a little back and forth. We just couldn't get the heavy train rolling.
And I've been playing my DS on the train instead of reading my Cisco books.
I
don't know why I bought
ran out
the-
of stuff to do on the train today. I got to
Really?
get more stuff and bring it.
I can't imagine that happened. I mean, think of
Well,
this.
it didn't run out of stuff. I ran out of stuff on me. I need to bring more
that's
stuff.
the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
See, I don't know why. I bought a little portable DVD player for the train because I got a lot of DVDs I want to watch.
I just use a laptop. Why waste that money?
Because that thing's really cheap and really tiny and really portable.
My laptop is tiny and
It's a lot
portable.
smaller than your laptop.
It can't be that small.
It's tiny. It's just a battery.
Plus,
a spot for a
if
DVD.
you compare size and screen quality, my laptop has a better ratio.
I don't care.
All right.
Besides, even a cheap laptop that's worth a damn is like $700. This thing was like 100 and something.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it was super cheap, and I'm kind of holding out on a laptop for a while anyway.
I don't know what you're holding out for.
Because I don't have any particular need for one. All the work I do is online stuff. If a computer's not connected to the internet, there's almost nothing I can use it for right now.
Google Gears.
Yeah, it doesn't let me do my Google Docs offline and my email offline yet.
I think it might, and if not, you can do something about it.
Nah, I'm holding out.
Whatever.
But I got this thing, like, all right, now I can watch that documentary I bought about Rome. Wait a minute. But I'm still playing Pokemon. I'm still playing Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Oh, and I'm still reading all those books. Fuck.
Yeah.
It's like, I think I should start going to work earlier and taking the longer train.
Yeah, I pre-ordered the Metroid Prime on the Amazon, and I'm actually kind of glad that it's supposedly not going to ship until like September 10th or something because I'm still playing Paper Mario and stuff, and I'm not going to have time to play Metroid, so better it not be here.
Plus, I got to say, I was reading around the press and what people are saying about that game, and it's rare that I care what reviewers say, and it's rare that I care what people buzzing about a game say, because I'll just kind of wait until it all ferments. I've yet to hear a human being utter anything bad about the game other than possibly that it might be a little easy.
You should just play the freaking Metroid Prime. I mean,
I don't like controlling any sort of 3D first-person game with a stick.
Metroid Prime isn't like an FPS.
No, I didn't say FPS. I said first-person anything, an FPA.
It's not. It's you never played it. You have no idea. It's got.
I started playing it. I just didn't really like it.
Then you're not gonna. I don't know why you think you're gonna like this other one.
Because I just don't like using those sticks. I hate analog sticks. I want a keyboard and mouse.
You only have to use the stick to walk in Metroid Prime, and that's it.
Yeah.
Using a stick to walk. You do that in any 3D game.
Now I got to
First
look around a
person or
little
not.
bit. I don't like that.
You don't. You look around holding down the button. You don't look around with the other stick.
But I still got to look around with the stick. I don't like that.
But you don't walk while looking around. So it doesn't matter.
I didn't say walk and look around. I said look around. I don't like that.
You got a problem in your head there.
I like super control of my. If I have a game,
But it's a game where the super control is not necessary.
I know.
And not,
I'm just saying it bothers me. And any time I
think you're
control
just crazy.
a viewpoint, every time I control a portal through which I view a world in the first person, if I don't have
So you have
absolute
so you have
control
a
over it,
psychological problem that
Yeah.
prevents you from. So you have a mental disorder that prevents you from being able to enjoy one of the greatest games.
you know what? Even then, I wasn't too. The only Metroid game I really liked was Super Metroid. I'll be honest.
Yeah, you're stupid. What do
I
you
played
know?
Metroid 1 and I beat it, but I didn't. I beat it because it was a Nintendo game and you have to beat it.
I think you just because you refuse to play them and you're
Refused
not,
to play them one. I played Metroid a lot.
I'm saying the Metroid Prime.
I did
Actually
play
try
it.
playing
I
it.
did for a while.
What do you mean for a while? Like I never seen you play it ever.
I played it for like 4 total hours and I just didn't get into it and then I stopped and then I had better things to do like Tribes and Counter-Strike and everything else in my life.
Tribes wasn't working in those days. By the time Metroid Prime 1 came out, Tribes was dead.
I tried playing the game way after it came out.
Yeah, try means like turn it on once and then turn it off.
I think 4 hours is enough to know if I like a game or not.
I don't believe you played the game for 4 hours.
All right, whatever. What do you care?
I'm just saying that you got a problem.
Okay.
Anyway, and I don't know what you think that somehow... You seem to think, like, there are all these games for the GameCube, and they basically make the same game for the Wii, and they change the controls slightly, and somehow you think you're gonna like the game any more than you liked it on the GameCube.
When it came to Twilight Princess, it was 100% true. I love Twilight Princess.
You barely even played it.
Because I don't have time.
You really- I think you're just lying to yourself.
I want to play it.
You either don't like either don't like Twilight Princess or you do like Ocarina of Time and you deny
Nah, just Twilight Princess is more polished.
it. So it's the same goddamn game.
It's more polished. It went over the line.
I don't know what your problem is. Anyway, maybe we should do some newses and things like that.
I was waiting for you.
All right. So that Bioshock game everyone's talking about.
Yeah, I got to play the demo still. I haven't had time.
I got that new video card yesterday, so I played the demo. And I can see what everyone's talking about with this game. It's real heavy. Like, it weighs heavily on you when you play it. And the demo's real short. And I actually kind of liked that the demo was short because as amazing as the experience was and as the work of art the game obviously was, it sort of like was so heavy. It was like eating a really filling cheesecake where it tasted so good, but then my stomach was not feeling so well.
I guess by those tokens, then Doom 2 is just like a Sprite.
Something like that.
Just, bam, 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 bam.
Yeah. So I was sort of glad that the demo was short because as amazing as it was sort of, I sort of didn't want to, I got this feeling I didn't want to keep playing because like the same reason you don't want to eat any more cheesecake because your stomach is full because it's so rich. So I think it's definitely, just from playing the short demo, I can tell it's one of the best games ever, top 50, top 100, something like that. But it's not like this amazing game of all time. Everyone's talking about it like it is. But I definitely think that right now, it's totally worth playing if you got monies.
This weekend, I'm probably going to play the demo, and I might just buy it.
Yeah, it only takes like a few minutes to get the demo.
Yeah.
The one thing I got to say, the news is that Valve, the people who are making Team Fortress 2 and Half-Life and all the business.
Who touched Sasha?
They have banned BioShock in their office.
Snap.
Not like you can't bring the game here or we don't like this game, keep it out. But like, okay, guys, if we're playing this game, we're never gonna finish our games. So they're not gonna. No one there is gonna play BioShock until they're done with Team Fortress 2 and all those games.
Judging from what people have said about the game and what I know about those people, I would wager that because of that, Team Fortress 2 is going to be released in about 10 minutes.
Something like that. I think this is good news all around. Because as soon as they're done with the Team Fortress 2, I guess they're giving everyone in the company a copy of BioShock or whatever.
I mean, imagine this. Imagine back when Tribes 2 was at its prime. And if suddenly RIT came down and said, we are blocking access to the Tribes 2 servers until Rim and Scott take this terrible test and pass it.
That terrible test would be done so fast.
Either that or everyone in the school who has control over the routers would be
Who
dead.
cares about Team Fortress?
And then we'd be
cares about
playing.
Tribes?
You know what? We just have a cable modem.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But yeah, think about it. A game. It's sort of like that thing they have in Japan where, if like a Dragon Quest game comes out in a school day, no one goes to school. It's
You know
sort of
what?
like one of those.
I gotta say though,
I heard that that's just an urban legend, but I'm not 100% sure it's totally false.
I can say that when Team Fortress 2 comes out, I'm almost certainly going to take the day after off work.
I probably will as well. And you know what? Unlike Metroid Prime, Team Fortress 2 comes out on Steam, so there's no chance of Amazon not getting it to me on time.
Yeah, and there's no way
I get it immediately. I preload it before the game is out. It's on my hard drive, and then as soon as the game is released, Valve unlocks it. And it's sort of a DRM, but not really, because they give you all they're really doing is just giving you most of the game, and then they give you the last bit of the game at the last second.
This is a new thing for me. I mean, I skipped something at RIT to drive Scott to get his GameCube the day it came out. But, well, skipped something kind of because Scott picked it up way before the class, but I just didn't go to the class. But I've never taken a day off of work because of a video game. And this might be that day.
I think it might be that day. Just because this is one game where I think I'm going to play it a lot, and I want to make sure my skills are up. I don't want to have the low skills.
Rim weighted.
Yeah. All right.
So speaking of Valve, well, there's an article on Slashdot here, and I'm just going to get right to the point of it because I got a few things to say. And then there's a slightly tangential conversation that I'm pretty sure is just going to happen. So I'm just going to quote the Slashdot right here. Valve's president, Gabe Newell, is calling
I think it's Newell. I'm not sure.
Newell is
Hello,
calling
Newell.
Microsoft's choice to make DirectX 10 Vista only a quote. I'm double quoting here. Terrible mistake that has harmed gaming.
Well, I think what it is that the developers want to make DirectX 10 games. They want to make fancier games with the fancier graphics, but making it Vista only means that those sorts of new fancy games are only going to work on the fancy Vista, and a lot of people are resistant to buying Vista. Thus, game developers resist making their games DirectX 10, and the games are held back because Vista doesn't march forward.
Yeah, I mean, basically the argument is that people aren't switching to Vista for various reasons. So as a result, game developers aren't using DirectX 10 so much because most people don't have an operating system, and it's kind of this catch-22 where it'll never get used because no one's using it. But at the same time, and actually now I saw it at work, but when I get home, they updated the article, and apparently people are pointing out that Windows XP's uptake numbers were somewhat similarly slow when it was first announced, and a lot of people stuck with Windows 2000 for a long time.
It's sort of true. When XP came out, I had the same feelings about it that I have towards Vista now. Like, new Windows, no way, it sucks, blah, right? And then just eventually, it's like, all right, I got a blank computer, I need a Windows, and that's the only Windows there is the new one, and you just use it, and it's not really that much different from the old Windows.
I mean, I'll end up using Vista whenever I build a new computer.
Yeah, well, you just built one, so 5 years?
Yeah, so maybe I'll use Vista 2020 or whatever.
I don't know, maybe Vista. I guess that comes after W. I don't know. But yeah, that seems to be the Windows goes.
Windows. TUVW.
Windows is a thing that people have to put on computers, and the way that they get an install base is by removing the old version and putting out the new version. And over time, as people get new computers, the old version goes away and the new version comes in, even if people don't actively adopt it. However, that's going to take a couple years, and game development and advancement goes a lot faster than that.
Yep.
And it is holding back the game developers on the PC. Also, the Xbox killed PC gaming. I still, while there are many good PC games coming out,
you really kind of hand-fisted that in there.
I just always have to say that whenever this issue comes up is, despite the Bioshocks and the orange boxes and all these things, right? All these games are on the Xbox also, okay?
See, now, here's an interesting thing, and I wonder about this, because no one, regardless of whatever people say, I don't like Microsoft, or Microsoft is evil, you can't claim that Microsoft is stupid, because Microsoft makes all its money, and they know exactly what they're doing most of the time.
Yeah, I'm still pretty sure. If you look at the PC gaming, when the Xbox appeared, all the types of games that were big on the PC, FPSs and RTS and all those things, started coming out on the Xbox. and they started diminishing from the PC, and it's still that way. And what you gonna do?
Well, the thing is, as we were talking about just before we did the show, Team Fortress 2, which I've waited for a long time.
Okay, so I go off on a tangent just because I want to, and now you're gonna do the same thing?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, the semi-unrelated.
You said the keyword, now I got to go in on this.
All right,
It's actually kind of related to what you said. So Team Fortress 2 is coming out on the Xbox, of course, and on the PC. Now, this is one of those games with the online, it's not like you play single-player Team Fortress 2. You fight with people. Now, technically, and they've admitted this, it is possible and feasible for all Team Fortress 2 people to play against each other, meaning that
they're already doing it at the Valve office.
yeah,
They
but I
have
mean,
it.
meaning that I could, when the game comes out, theoretically, log onto a server, and some Xbox kid could log onto a server, and I could play with my widescreen monitor, mouse, keyboard, scripts, and whatnot against a kid with an Xbox controller and a TV. And I hope desperately that Microsoft allows this to come to pass.
I hope they put a little icon next to everyone's name so you know what they're using.
Because I want all of those kids out there to know and to quake in fear when they realize that if they see that little PC icon, that means I got a mouse, and that means that I can shoot them in the head and they can't shoot me in the head.
That's how it's done.
But if I were Microsoft, there's no way in hell I would let that happen. Because if they let this happen and you could just play against people, it would become pretty apparent to the gaming media pretty quickly that, and I'll stand by this statement, that on average, people on PCs would be stupidly better at the game than people on the console just because the controls are better.
So the thing is, the argument that you could make in that case is, hey, people who are playing on PCs are more likely to be hardcore gamers with more skills anyway.
Well, that just makes the disparity even worse because even if you put someone, I just think that the cap on how good you can be at an FPS that
I'm saying
requires
someone might
precision-
say the control's not the difference. It's all the better players use the PC, not that, they're better because the controls are better.
Well, the way around that is to force people to play on the opposite consoles for a while and see what happens.
That is true. That is true.
But even then, even if that were the case, people would just notice that, wow, PC gamers kick our asses. And I wonder if that might make young punk kids think, I gotta get me a PC. Mom, buy me a PC. I gotta play Team Fortress on PC. Fuck the Xbox.
Oh, whatever. It doesn't really matter right now.
It matters to me. I really care about this. This
Yeah,
is,
I know.
There's Darfur and there's Iraq, and no, I care about showing these console kids what for.
Yeah. I guess the last thing to say, just sort of mandatory, is the PAX was this weekend, and
Oh, yeah.
we didn't go. Many awesome things happened there. I watched some YouTube videos, and I was as moved by the videos as I imagine I would have been being there.
All right, PAX staff. I'll note lately that we don't go to cons. I mean, it's not on purpose. We just end up not going to cons unless we're doing some sort of entertainment. Get us to be guests at PAX, and I can guarantee we'll be
I think the
there.
problem is that all the guests at PAX are 10,000 times better than we are.
I think the only problem is not even that. PAX is the only convention in the world where I don't want to be a guest because I want to go to the con as a person and do all the con stuff.
I know.
I don't want to sit at some table and do a show. I want to sit there and play video games.
That's right. So I think next year we've decided we're going to go to PAX no matter what. Well, I guess not no matter what. Something crazy could happen, like plane crashes, we die, terminally ill in the hospital, etc. But barring that, we're going to PAX no matter what next year. No matter what.
I'm not committing to that yet, but
Come on. I'm going no matter what. I'll go without you.
You go no matter what?
I'll go no matter what.
Sure.
All right.
I'm down.
It's recorded.
It is.
What you going to do?
I will note, however.
You going to edit out of the show?
I never thought of that. I've never done a malicious edit before.
Yeah, well, don't start.
Things of the day. Ass. Balls.
Uh-huh.
Rim
Rim likes ass and balls, you say.
Actually, I wanted to say a more polysyllabic one, but
I think it's polysyllabic.
I said abic, and I'm going to go with that.
Because it's a syllable.
Anyway, I can't believe this hasn't been a thing of the day or anything. We might have mentioned it now and then, but it's kind of like ZomboCom. Just, whoa, we never talked about this?
It's a thing of the day classic.
Yeah. So if you've seen this before, whatever.
Everyone's seen it before. What are you talking about?
A lot of people haven't seen it before.
I'm sure one person, at least one person listening to the show hasn't, but I think the majority have. Because if you're hip enough to the net that you're listening to this podcast on Tuesday, you're hip enough to the net to know about this thing.
Well, I would hope so, because I'd point out that in the Front Row Crew, where we practically worship Horatio Hornblower, I'm running a game based on that in Burning Wheel, like starting in a month or two. And suddenly it came out of the woodwork that most of the crew has never seen a single episode of that show.
I know, it was so weird. Like, we watched it as a group in college, and we've watched it as a group since then, but apparently a lot of people, major people, haven't seen it, and it's kind of weird.
I find that frightening. But no, this is my thing of the day. The Angry Video Game Nerd. Basically, it's videos of this kid playing shitty old video games.
He's not really a kid. I think he's our age-ish.
Kid, guy, he's our age, yeah. But I can still say kid.
All right.
Fine.
Kid.
A guy playing these
Dude.
video games. Games such as, I don't know, Simon's Quest or Die Hard or Custer's Revenge. And he reviews them. And his style includes, shall we say, some profanity. Little bit.
Yeah. But the thing is, his profanity is sort of like... His profanity is profanity in the same way that Looney Tunes is violence.
Like, instead of saying, man, fuck shit, this game, whatever, he'll say things like, I'd rather let a buffalo take a diarrhea dump in my ear.
That's the theme song.
It is.
Yeah. But he'll be like, this is a pile of cockadookie something in, your mother's something. I don't know. I can't do it. That's why I'm not the angry video game nerd, and he is.
Yeah, and the best part is, it's half, it's funny the way he talks, and he reviews the games really well. But the other half of it is pure nostalgia, because the first one I ever saw was when he talked about the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game for the NES. And everything he showed was just, oh man, I remember that. Oh man, I remember that. Oh man.
Basically, what he goes for most of the time is those incredibly old NES games that were incredibly and frustratingly difficult. But as a kid, you didn't mind that. And now, when you get to something like that in a video game, you're just like, fuck this game. But he goes and he brings those games up.
When you were a kid, you had what, like 4 video games? So
he brings these games up and he brings you back to the feelings you had when you were a kid in that same incredibly frustratingly difficult spot in the game, and you remember, and he's like, fuck this shit. Oh my god, this is terrible. And you're like, yes, it was. I remember. I did the same thing. Oh my god.
I mean, there's one scene where he's like, fuck, and he's biting his NES controller like, and I did that more than once.
I never bit the NES controller, but...
Oh, my God. Our friend Luke. I got a story here. This is a nice aside. But yeah, angry video game nerd. So, biting controllers, right? Remember when Advance Wars 1 came out for the GBA? Awesome, awesome game. But the Advance campaign, like the I'm hardcore, I'm going to play the hard version, was fucking hard and arbitrary. Like, it was crazily difficult.
It was basically, it moved, the Advance Wars 1 in the US on the hardest mode stopped being a tactics turn-based strategy game into a puzzle game with a solution. Like, move this guy here, move this guy there, move this guy here. Down to the spot. It had to be perfect and exact.
So he was determined to beat this with an S rank, or even just beat it. And it was so frustrating, and he kind of had this habit where if he lost, he'd either squeeze the Game Boy really hard, like, "Ugh!" Or he'd kind of like grab it in his mouth and kind of go like, "Ugh!" and bite it a bit. One day, he loses a mission, and he goes to his mouth, and he goes, "Ah!" and then he goes, "Ah!" and then he throws the Game Boy across the room and holds his mouth. What had happened was he bit it, but his tongue went against that little port, and it gave him a little bit of a shock.
Oh, and no exaggeration, true story, he'll admit it. He failed graduate school because of Advance Wars 1 for the GBA.
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke. I swear to God, it's 100% true.
Luckily,
he played Advance Wars too much and thus failed.
Luckily, it didn't matter because he still got a badass job. But
yeah,
actually, now he runs an awesome anime store.
It shows you graduate school not too necessary unless you really want to do something specific, like be a doctor or a lawyer.
I mean, it depends on the field.
Or a dentist.
He did okay. I think his life was probably better off having not gotten that master's.
I think so as well. Anyway, thing of the day from me. Do you remember that thing of the day with the guy who said, "Are you a girl? Is it Halloween?"
Sexy nun, sexy banana, sexy whatever.
So I wondered who that guy was, and I still haven't totally found out, but apparently his name is Nick. I guess that's his name of the character.
Hi, everybody.
But anyway, he's made 2 other videos that are basically parodies of low-budget commercials, and one of them is for a fireworks emporium where there's a crappy rap song, and it's okay. The other one is for like his Winter Wonderland where he sells a bunch of Christmas shit. And it's... see, the thing is, like, I get the feeling it's as funny as the Halloween one, but because I've seen the Halloween one, it sort of doesn't feel as funny to me. But if you like that Halloween one from the Goyle's Costume Warehouse, you gotta watch these other 2 videos because even if they're not as funny, they're still funny and worth the, 5 minutes it takes to watch them.
Plus, I'll admit, whenever someone says Goyles, I just crack up, and I don't know
Goyles?
why. Goyles.
You should watch Popeye.
I used to watch Popeye. But you're the one who's never seen the live-action Popeye movie with Robin Williams.
No, I've never seen a live-action Popeye, no. But you know what? I'm thinking about buying...
With Robin Williams.
I'm thinking about buying this box set of incredibly old Popeye cartoons.
I really
on
like the
Amazon.
Aladdin one. I remember that one.
There's also an incredibly old Popeye comic collection book I'm thinking about buying too. I don't know. I'm gonna buy one or the other. I think probably the cartoon.
Before we go on, I just got to say, the Angry Video Game Nerd, I think I might link to it specifically, but if I don't, if you haven't seen this before you watch anything else that guy's done, go watch the one about Bible games.
No, go watch the one about Silver Surfer.
I don't know.
You know how we always talk about how incredibly difficult Silver Surfer is? I think he put it best in his Silver Surfer
the
review.
difficulty
He says-
of this game
he says
is legendary.
Its difficulty is legendary.
Now, I remember it this way. If you're a gamer, like straight up video gamer, watch the Silver Surfer one because it's mostly, fuck that game. But if you're just looking for humor, watch the Bible Games one and watch it all the way through. Trust me on this. Because when he's throwing that rock at those animals, you're really going to feel it.
And he is still making these because he just came out with the Atari porn one.
Oh
which
my
is
God,
hilarious.
the Atari porn.
And he's still on the ball. All his videos are as good as they always were. All right. Today, we're going to talk about that new Wii game, the Mario Strikers Charged.
We kind of held off since we wanted to play it enough to get a full
Of course,
feel
we
for
didn't
it.
play it so much more.
I played it a bunch. I
Played
played
a
it
little bit
online a
more.
little bit.
Yeah.
I understand the game.
Yeah. Basically, this is a direct sequel to the other Mario Strikers for the GameCube, which is the first one. And it's pretty much the same game, but they have made... we did a review on that original one, didn't we? So
we did.
You can go listen to that. And it's pretty much the same game, but it does have significant changes, and I think those significant changes make the game superior. Sort of the same way the GameCube Mario Tennis was better than the N64 Mario
Or
Tennis.
how Smash Brothers Melee was better than just the original Smash Brothers.
Yep. So this is an incremental improvement on the other Mario Strikers, and there's pretty much no reason to play the old one now that we have the new one.
Yeah. So, for one, if you like the old one, just buy the new one. Don't even question
If you
it.
have a Wii. I mean, if you don't have a Wii, this is not a game that is so good you should buy a Wii to play it.
No, those
You should
games are
wait-
coming.
You should wait until there are more games, Wait until there's Strikers, Wii Sports, we got those two. After Metroid and Brawl come out, then buying a Wii will be worth the money. But right now, if you have a Wii, get the game. If you don't have a Wii, don't run out and buy one for this.
And two, if you didn't listen to our old review or you think you don't like sports games, one, this is
Mario
not
Sports
like...
are not sports games. Don't tell yourself that they are.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't like those Madden whatever games, don't worry about it.
Yeah, if you don't like, say, FIFA, whatever, this is nothing like a sports game. This is something else.
So before we get into the gameplay,
It's a lot more like NBA Jam.
we talked about this a lot when we reviewed the original, and it's times 10 in this game. The style and the character design and all the little extras in the game that don't actually affect gameplay are so important, and this is one of the reasons why Nintendo's first-party games tend to kick everyone's asses. They went the extra mile, and there's so much in this game that doesn't directly affect gameplay, but just the way the characters move and the way they talk to you and the way they yell at each other and the way they react when they get a goal or when they miss a goal or when they miss a shot is just... It adds so much to the experience that you'd be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, the first one had all that going on, full on, and the new one has it going on even more, except I think that the way they've designed the character models wearing all that armor, I like the old way better, where they were just sort of sporty, but with attitude. But other than that, everything about the new one is better in those respects. I mean, every character sort of has, their own music, and... It's like each one has a different kind of music. Like Mario has some rock and roll, and Luigi has like a hat dance kind of thing, and
No, Luigi is like Desperado coming down from the sky.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And Kid Koopa is all Quentin Tarantino. You feel like he's just, oh yeah.
Yeah, freaking
The princess is like
Peach is like a
techno.
pop diva techno.
Oh yeah, Daisy
dance
is
kinda.
techno.
Daisy's sort of techno, and all the music, no matter what genre it is or which character you've picked, is totally intense and builds up the energy, sort of like the way music in a sports stadium builds you up. which is what you should do in a sports game.
Yep, I mean,
make
Waluigi,
someone feel like they're in a sporting arena.
Waluigi's El Banjo-y. I really like his.
Yeah, I mean, it's banjo-y, but somehow it builds energy. And, like, yeah, let's get it on.
And much like the other game, the characters just, every Nintendo sports or Mario Kart, Mario Tennis, whatever, they're good games. They're great games. But the characters are still just Mario. It's me, a Mario. It's nothing. They don't go beyond that. These games, these Mario Strikers games, go one step past that. And the characters have attitude. They're pissy sometimes. They're hardcore, and they want to kick your ass.
That's, I think, what's necessary for a soccer game.
I mean, when Yoshi looks at you and he's like, I'm going to kick your ass, and you think, oh, crap, he's coming to kick my ass. You don't get that in any other Nintendo game.
Yeah, or when you get, like, Kid Koopa giving you, like, the old slit throat, like, yeah, bitches.
I think my favorite thing in the whole game...
Like when Wario farts at you.
Oh, my God. My favorite thing is something like when someone makes a shot. It shows whoever made the shot, like, celebrating, and everyone celebrates in a bunch of different ways, and they're really funny, and they're really good. But Wario and Kid Koopa have two of the greatest oh shit we're losing the game animations. Wario just fucking commits suicide. He's like, I cannot go on, and he pulls out a bomb and blows himself up. And Kid Koopa just like, it shows like a camera view of his face, and then he punches the camera, and then it cuts to another camera, and he's just attacking all the press cameras around him and yelling. And it's just it's so great.
It is pretty great. All right, let's talk about the actual gameplay going on.
Yeah, because the actual game is fantastic.
All right, now if you've played a soccer game before, any sort of hockey, maybe even a basketball game before, right? It's sort of like you're passing, you're shooting, you're moving, right? And you're also sort of defending the goal or the net in some way, Like if you play ice hockey for the NES, you sort of got to control your guys and control the goalie. Well, like the original Strikers, you don't control your goalie at all. Your goalie is automatic.
Now, I really like that.
I like that because controlling a goalie has always been annoying, and it basically making me not have to do that is kind of okay. But you're always worrying, like, okay, now the game, whether I win or lose depends on this, goalie that's controlled by an AI that might suck.
The game is so well crafted that one, the goalie's really good, and stuff's not going to just randomly get in.
Yeah.
And two, how well your defense is depends a lot more on how your defensemen play and how you get them in the way.
I think this is where the game makes a serious improvement on the original Strikers. In the original Strikers, they were like, you could set it up where you just score because you knew how to. You could like pass and position your guys in a certain way to be like pass, lob pass, kick out of the air, and it would just go in most of the time, right? In the new one, they have this system of charging up the ball, in addition to a bunch of other things like skill shots and charge-up shots and items, to where it's not so much a game of score, right? Beat the goalie. It's a game of the ball. If you just shoot the ball, it will never go in if you just walk and shoot it. You have to play. You have to make a play in the field, which is not easy and takes a significant amount of time. And unless you make a play in the field, your chance of the ball going in the net when you eventually shoot is pretty much nil. So it's pretty much the game becomes you are trying to make a play in the field when you have the ball, and when you don't have the ball, you're trying to prevent the other player from making a play in the field. And it's all this offensive and defensive maneuvering in the field, and then the actual shooting is pretty much like I've made the play. All I have to do is push shoot, and it'll go in, 80% of or 90%, depending on how good your play was. And I've never seen a game that handles it that way before, and it's really great.
Yep, because ice hockey's really fun, but the original ice hockey for the NES.
Yep.
But the game gets to the point where the only thing that matters is how good of a goaltender you are. And there's not so much maneuvering on the field, and granted, that's a simple game, but most sports games are like that. This game is just focused down to this one aspect of play, which I would argue in football or soccer, depending on what country you're in, is the most fun part.
Yeah, I mean, when you watch, like, a sporting event, right? If someone just, like, scores and scores and scores, normally, that's why I always got bored with a lot of sports games, because eventually you figure out the trick to just score a lot, and you just keep doing that trick over and over again, and the game's over. In this, there is no trick to just score a lot. You have to make a play, and you can't just make the same identical play, because, like, just a pass and a shot is not a play. A play is like, pass, charge up, shoot, rebound, pass, lob in the air, shoot. you know? And it's not like the same thing every time. You have to, you know, keep the ball moving and do some tricks and things to sort of build it up and pull something off without the ball getting stolen or without your guys getting hit.
Now, that's
without
also
getting hit with an item.
The really fun part that, you know, we said you charge up the ball. Anytime you take direct action on the ball, it adds energy to it. It eventually turns white, meaning it's fully charged. And the more charged it is, the better chance it has of going in if someone makes a shot. But at the same time, a white shot is not going to automatically go in because how close you are, where the goalie is. I mean, if the goalie is distracted for whatever reason, like from a rebound shot, then even a low-powered shot's going to go in because the goalie's in the wrong spot. He can't get there in time.
Yep.
But two, the charge keeps the energy going because once you're making an offensive play, you can't just back off and then try again. You got to keep pushing because if they grab the ball from you, it's still fully charged because you charged it up and now they're coming straight for your goal.
But then again, like let's say they grab the ball from you. Like if the goalie catches the ball, right, it immediately starts losing charge. So the game encourages you to keep making lots of action and not just like sit around and bide your time and, you know, walk around in circles or anything.
It's great for rebounds because it's just like rebound, ah!
Yeah, if you shooting charges the ball up. Passing charges the ball up. Charging shots charge the ball up. Doing things charges the ball up. All right. Another thing I got to talk about in this game are the skill shots, which are new and awesome, and they actually take skill. Basically, your second, the way it worked in the original Strikers is you would choose a team leader and teammates. So, for example, you choose Luigi and Boo. So you'd have one Luigi and 3 Boos on your team. In this one, there are a lot more teammates and a lot more team leaders, and you can mix up your teammates. You can have like a Boo, a Hammer Brother, and a Goomba. Not a Goomba.
Not a Goomba. A Goomba would be useless in soccer.
I know, right? All he has is feet.
If the ball hit him, that's the end.
He can headbutt it really well.
I know that headbutting Mario from the bottom doesn't work.
You could have
well.
like your team could be a Birdo, a Mole Man, and a Hammer Brother,
and Waluigi,
or 2 Boos and a Koopa Troopa, and then Luigi.
And they all have different.
I always play Luigi, so that's my example.
Yeah,
but each sidekick, right, the main player, when they charge the ball up, when they do a charge shot, they hold down the shoot button for the maximum amount of time and let go. They do the super strike, which we'll talk about in a minute. But if the secondary players charge up all the way and let go, they do the skill shot. And each secondary teammate has a different skill shot. And the reason it's a skill shot is because you have to sort of use it with the right timing and the right position. And if you do it just right, you can get a goal pretty easily. But it's not easy. It's a skill shot for a reason. It takes a lot of skill, and the skill shots are awesome.
Yep. And also, real quick, because it's kind of related to that, in the old game, you know, you get items anytime someone else checks you or kicks you or something, and you didn't have the ball. If you did an illegal hit. In this game, they still have that. But also, just before you get a skill shot, the ball like flashes for a second. And if you shoot during that span, instead of doing a skill shot, you take a shot on the goal and it charges the ball, and you get an item. So you can build up items just by taking shots on the other person's goal and making plays.
So the other guy can't starve you of items. All right, now let's talk about the waggle whatnots, as so people call it, right? How does the Wii work into this game for the Wii?
One, you don't have to do any of that if you don't want to.
Yes, basically, it's actually, forget about the Wii-ness, right? Think about it. The controls are pretty similar to the GameCube controls, except now you're using the Wiimote in your right hand, or, your primary hand, I guess, and the nunchuck in the other hand. So it's sort of like if the GameCube controller was split in half, so you could move your hands around more freely, and there was just a wire connecting them, and it's wireless. So it's actually a lot more comfortable than just the GameCube, and most of the controls of the GameCube are very similar or the same, so it's not much different. It's just more comfortable.
The only really waggling is when you want to tackle someone, you can hit a button or you can shake the stick. And
the difference is if you hit a button to tackle, you do a slide tackle. If you shake the Wiimote, you do the hitting tackle, right? So that's sort of different, but I mostly used the slide tackle because the hitting tackle is only useful in specific situations. So I find myself using the slide tackle a lot more. You can also, if you take the nunchuck and you shake it a little bit, that's how you change items. And it sort of feels good to change items that way because it's sort of like, flipping through items, like, sort of like changing cartridges in a gun or whatever. And that's pretty much it, except for the Mega Strike.
All right, now, in the previous game, the Mega Strike was pretty much, if you got it off, it was automatic goal. and it was worth 2 points, and that was
2
it.
points. It was either 2 points or no points.
And it was kind of bad because once you got good at the game, the strategy was just get right over the center line, super shot. Right over the center line, super shot.
But
Item,
the thing
super
is,
shot.
if you're playing with good people, they could stop you from doing the super shot. The problem is, if you got it off, 2 goals, no one could do anything about it, and you had to sit there and watch this animation that was unskippable to get 2 goals. And
yeah, also real quick, in this game, they got rid of that slow-mo all the time, which I'm pretty sure was only in the GameCube because the GameCube...
Well, I think it was. I think the slow-mo in the GameCube one was for dramatic effect, but I think
it was
it was definitely overused.
I think it was partly also to deal with the processor not being super fast.
I don't think it had a problem with that because you could play a whole game without slow-mo. As it was the reason slow-mo happened is if you did like a big pass and then you did like a one-timer shot, that's when it would do the slow-mo.
But also every time it did the slow-mo, there was like that effect around the character.
What? It was a special effect.
Yeah, maybe they couldn't do that.
I don't think so.
Anyway, they got rid of that.
Yeah, there's slow-mo now, but it happens much less often.
It's super rare.
And it's only for dramatic effect. But what they do, the Mega Strike in the new one, the way it works is you charge up with your main team guy, your team leader, and you charge up all the way. And you charge up all the way and a meter appears. And the meter is very similar to the meter in the old one. But when the meter goes to the left, it counts up 3, 4, 5, 6. And you push the button when it's at the number you want. Now, the number that you stop it on is the number of balls you're going to shoot. So if you push it on the 3, you're only going to shoot 3 shots. But it doesn't take long. So if another guy's coming to hit you and if he hits you, you're going to get no shots. So do you push the ball quick? You push the button real soon so you know you get 3 shots off? Or do you hold out to try to get 4, 5, or 6 shots? That's pretty cool. Then, after you push it to select how many shots you're going to take, it goes back to the right, and you try to stop it when it's in the green or the yellow area. And that determines how fast the shots are going to be.
And in the way it works out, well, first we'll talk about how you fight him off if you're a player. Because you get the shot off. And
this is the other waggly bit.
Awesome animation happens. And now, and this might sound dumb, but bear with me because I'm going to defend it. It works out really well.
Oh, you think it works well? I think it works out okay.
I think it works a lot better than a lot of other ways they could have handled it.
It does, but I do feel like it is a tacked-on waggle thing.
Oh, it is, but what else could they have done?
Not waggle.
Then what are you going to do?
No, you just make it Strikers game for the Wii. What's wrong with that?
Because I didn't like the fact that it was deterministic, like it's just gonna go in automatically if you get the good thing.
That is true. That is true.
That's
You're
the only
right.
thing I didn't like. There's got to be some sort of like mini game or skill or something to block those super shots, and they could have done it another way. I think this is a pretty good, quick, elegant way.
It's an okay way.
It works pretty well. The way it works is you've got little hands on the screen that you control with the Wiimote, and it gives you a countdown, and you have to click before it'll start, and the balls come at you, and you have to block them. And depending on where they got on the meter is how fast they'll come at you. And it's basically, if they didn't hit the good part, like the green part or the orange part, you can block them all like just whatever. Just
Unless
click,
you
click,
suck.
click. Unless you're a moron.
It's basically sort of like a mini game of Duck Hunt where the ducks sort of appear in one spot for like a fraction of a second, and you sort of have to shoot them all really quick. And it's actually not that hard because you can sort of see where they're coming from. And if you practice at it, super shots won't really pass by you so much.
Yep, and then the green area, it's pretty hard, but you'll usually get all of them if you're a good player.
Most of them.
But if
At
you
least
get
most of them to where you're not just done. 'Cause
Yeah.
if 6 shots go in, game over.
But if you get it into the orange one, which is pretty hard to do, but I've practiced the hell out of doing that, you're lucky if you block half of them.
Yeah. It's the thing is, it's good. It's hard to get it in the orange, and also if someone gets it in the orange, you left them wide open on the field, and we're not playing defense at all.
Also, if they get off more than 3 or 4 shots, you again left them out there, and it's your own goddamn fault.
If they get off any shots on the mega thing, then you weren't playing defense properly. When I noticed when we play with people who know what they're doing, almost no one gets a mega strike off ever. It's like people try, but then they always get hit every time.
Yep.
Or itemed at the very least.
The only other thing I could really talk about is the fact that it has Wi-Fi play.
Yeah, I played the Wi-Fi play once, and it was kind of fun because you are playing the full game against someone on the internet, and it is a contest of skill and awesomeness.
Yep, it just works.
But it just works. The only thing I can complain about is that I played it, and it didn't seem so bad when I was playing it, and it said, you have a 4-star internet speed rating. But when I actually went back to playing the single-player game, I realized that the internet play was mad laggy. I only did it once, so it could have been just that time. But
It could also been who you were playing against.
it could have been, but it was pretty laggy. So lagginess in a game like this is not really the greatest. It's
But
really
at the
a
same
game that
time,
demands no lag.
Scott's basing that on one play.
Yes, I'll have to play more Wi-Fis to figure it out.
Because I played one Wi-Fi and I didn't notice any lag. I just played. It seemed pretty good. Kid kicked my ass, but...
Yeah. I actually had a pretty close one, but I played it on the day the game came out in the U.S., so...
Yeah, I haven't been practicing so much.
Yeah, I haven't been practicing either. I've been playing Paper Mario. Good God. Anything else you want to say about Strikers?
There's not so much I can say. I highly recommend this game. If you own a Wii, it's a must-buy. If you don't own a Wii, it's a must-buy after you get a Wii. It's not a reason to get a Wii, like Scott said.
Yep. And, good soccer game. It might be the best soccer game there is, except maybe that one that was all River City Ransom.
I just wish Nintendo would use that kind of style or that kind of, make the characters a little hardcore. Make them kind of competitive.
Well, it doesn't have to make them hardcore necessarily.
Just
but you have
make
to
them different.
Make them not the standard, it's a me and Mario.
Stylize it a little bit.
Yeah, when you make the next Mario Tennis, give the characters, an attitude. It doesn't have to be, a badass attitude. It could be any attitude, I do like the attitude in Strikers, though. It's cool.
And we talked about the characters' theme music, their leitmotifs, if I may. But the music in the game as a whole, the loading music, in fact, the loading music specifically, pumps you up.
Sort of like the way Tribes 2 did.
Yeah. Oh, man. This has been Geeknights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music.
Be sure to visit our website at www.frontrowcrew.com, where you'll find show notes, links, our awesome forum, a link to our Frapper map, and links to all the RSS feeds.
We say feeds plural because Geeknights airs 4 nights a week, covering 4 different brands of geekery. Mondays are science and technology. Tuesdays, we have video games, board games, and RPGs. Wednesdays are anime, manga, comic nights. And Thursdays are the catch-alls for various rants and tomfoolery.
You can send us feedback by email to geeknights@frontrowcrew.com. Or you can send audio feedback via Audio. Just click the link that says Send Me an Audio on the right side of our website.
If you like what you hear, you can catch the last 100 episodes in iTunes or in your favorite podcatcher. For the complete archives, visit the website, which has everything.
Geeknights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike 2.5 license. This means you can do whatever you want with it as long as you give us credit, don't make money, and share it in kind. Geeknights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.